As the spotlight shone down onto the stage, the crowd cheered wildly as Rihanna made her way onto the platform. Hello, and welcome to my channel. If is your first time, please subscribe, also hit the bell, so that you won't miss out in any of our update. Please do well to stay tuned till the end. The singer had been eagerly awaited by her fans, who had turned out in their thousands to see her latest show. And for a while, it seemed as though everything was going swimmingly. The crowd was engaged, the music was pumping, and Rihanna's energy was palpable. Then something happened that nobody could have predicted. There was a momentary lull in the performance, and Rihanna turned to her side to address her fans. "So, y'all know A$AP Rocky," she said, gesturing to the rapper who was also performing with her that night. "He's been following me around like a lost puppy all day. I'm starting to think he's a bit of a stalker." The crowd laughed, but A$AP Rocky's face fell. He had clearly not been expecting Rihanna to say something like that in front of thousands of people. And as the show went on, it became clear that the incident had left a sour taste in his mouth. As the night wore on, it became increasingly apparent that Rihanna was the star of the show. Her energy was infectious, and the crowd was responding to her in a way that they simply weren't with A$AP Rocky. In fact, it was clear that some people were even starting to tune him out. It wasn't long before Rihanna had the audience eating out of her hand once again. But every now and then, she would make a comment that seemed to throw A$AP Rocky off balance. "Don't worry, folks," she said at one point. "If any of you start feeling a bit bored, just take a look over here at A$AP Rocky. He's taken up a new hobby." Staring at me creepily. Again, the crowd laughed, but A$AP Rocky didn't look amused. He was clearly feeling humiliated and embarrassed. Despite his attempts to brush off Rihanna's jibes, it was clear that they were getting under his skin. In fact, things took a turn for the worse towards the end of the show. As they performed one of Rihanna's biggest hits, the singer suddenly pointed at A$AP Rocky and shouted, "Can we get a spotlight over here on this creeper? I think he's starting to blend into the background." The audience erupted with laughter, but A$AP Rocky looked mortified. He tried to keep up with the performance, but it was clear that he had lost his rhythm. By the end of the night, it was also clear that he had lost the crowd. As the lights finally went down, and Rihanna waved goodbye to her adoring fans, A$AP Rocky slipped off the stage, head hanging low. He had been left feeling not only embarrassed, but humiliated. It was a moment that would live on in the memories of everyone who had been there that night, a moment that had seen one star completely overshadow the other. Of course, nobody could have predicted how things would have turned out that night. Perhaps Rihanna had just been in a playful mood, or perhaps she had been genuinely annoyed with her collaborator. But whatever the reason behind her jibes, they had clearly taken their toll on A$AP Rocky. The rapper would later admit that he had felt utterly embarrassed by the experience. "You know, when you're up there on stage, you're putting yourself out there. You're making yourself vulnerable. And when someone like Rihanna comes along and starts making fun of you in front of all those people, well, it can be pretty devastating." Thankfully, the incident didn't have any long-term impact on A$AP Rocky's career. He continued to make music and perform, and despite the embarrassment of that one night, he remained one of the most respected rappers of his generation. As for Rihanna, she moved on to bigger and better things. Her star continued to rise, and she cemented her place as one of the most iconic performers of our age. But for those who had been there that night, the memory of her taking down A$AP Rocky in front of thousands of fans would always linger. Thank you guys for watching on to the very last end. What are your thoughts about this? Please do well to share with us your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any of our